So I keep being told there's no such thing as white privilege, Rubes. You're trying to make a thing where there's no thing, Rubes. There's no such thing. And every time I bring up specifically the way that we either can or cannot protect children from certain information, or the way that children are treated differently based on race or whatever, everyone goes silent, everyone disappears, because I want you to think in your head about a white boy in America. He's really got to go to the bathroom, really got to go. And there's no bathroom nearby. So daddy walks him over there. There's a tree, a fence, whatever, and lets this 10-year-old boy go pee. Of course, he's 10. He's either going to wet himself or you're going to let him go, right? What do you think the punishment would be? Oh yeah, no, there was a punishment. Not for the little white boy, sorry. But for the 10-year-old black child who did the same thing, there was real punishment. Let's take a look at this story and y'all let me know. Is this an example that kind of proves there is such a thing as white privilege, y'all? Because there's no way you've ever heard of this happening to a white child. And we all know that if this was a white child, this never would have happened. But let's take a look at the story.
Questions tonight in Senatobia after a 10-year-old boy is arrested and taken to a police station. WRG's Mike Sirianni went to Senatobia to hear the mother's side of the story, but found out she's now in jail herself.
A child is a child. Sometimes it's an emergency. The child just is about to explode.
This man does not want to be identified, but says the arrest of a 10-year-old boy by Senatobia police for allegedly urinating in public is hard to comprehend.
And I think you could forgive a child for just an incident that I don't feel is cop necessary.
That incident happened in the parking lot of a lawyer's office directly across from the Tate County Courthouse. The lawyer, who did not want to go on camera, told me a woman came into her law offices asking for legal assistance. While that woman was in her office, a plainclothes Senatobia police detective entered. Senatobia's police chief stating in part, quote, "In this situation, the officer personally witnessed a 10-year-old child committing an act in public, which would have been illegal for an adult under these circumstances. The officer did not observe a parent on the scene during the initial contact."
What? Bro, I'm mind-boggled. I am mind-boggled. The chief of police said in this situation, the officer personally witnessed. He personally witnessed it. Oh my God, personally, he witnessed a 10-year-old child committing an act that would be a crime for an adult to do. But this isn't an adult. He's not 16 or 17. He's 10. He's a child. And the reason why we have issues with people doing public urination, for example, is because it was often used as a smokescreen when pervs decide they want to pull it out in front of a bunch of school-aged kids. Right? And they go, no, I just had to pee. What? Like, let's not pretend for a second that the actual act of urinating would be the crime itself, or even the necessary urinating in public. Like the fact that you need to be observed by someone, and that we all know, again, the problem has to do specifically with protecting children. But this is a child who had to go to the bathroom. That's it. A 10-year-old. And the cop observed him. Whatever.
Fact, end quote. According to the chief, the woman was located and, quote, she was advised that her child was going to receive a youth court referral for this matter. The officers then transported the 10-year-old to the police station to complete the paperwork, where the child was released to the mother. The child was not handcuffed during this incident.
You arrested the child. You didn't just give him like a ticket or something. You arrested the 10-year-old child for needing to pee so badly he couldn't hold it till he got somewhere else with a toilet. Okay.
Quote. According to the lawyer, several Senatobia police cruisers were called to the scene. Far too many, says this man.
I don't think more than one policeman needs to show up for, even if it was an adult, of public urination. I don't think you need more than one cop.
In Senatobia,
Right.
Mike Suriani, WREG News Channel 3.
Now, I can tell you today, the chief of police said it was an error in judgment to transport the child to the police station. The child's mother, by the way, was arrested today for contempt of court and is now in jail and unable to talk with us.
I like how already in the story, it's like the judgment call issue was taking him to the court, not for charging a 10-year-old child with needing to urinate, right? Like, that's wild, right? But that's not where the judgment call fail was. The judgment call fail was simply in the fact that they put him in the back of a cruiser. Let's actually hear from the Eastons, okay?
Start shaking and thinking I'm going to jail.
10 years old, sitting in the back of a Senatobia police cruiser. What could he have possibly done to wind up there? Urinate in public. There's a photo circulating on social media, sparking outrage in the community. I spoke with the boy's mother about what happened and asked police why they felt the need to haul the boy off to jail.
I'm just speechless right now because, for one, I can't believe it happened. Like, why would you arrest a 10-year-old kid?
Last Thursday, LaTanya Eason stopped by a Senatobia attorney's office for legal advice. She says within as little as 10 minutes, a police officer interrupted her meeting. He caught her 10-year-old son, Quantavious Eason, urinating behind her car.
I was like, son, why did you do that? He said, Mom, my sister said they ain't got a bathroom in there. I was like, well, you knew better. You should have came and asked me if they had a restroom. So he was like, since you had it like a mom, then he could just get back in the car.
But Eason says things quickly took a turn for the worse when several more police cruisers pulled up.
Another officer came over there and was like, your son got to get out of the car. He got to be arrested because he can't do that.
I started like crying.
Because he can't go pee. Y'all, I can't. I seriously I'm trying to hold back tears. I want you to think about being 10, right? You're proud you don't wet yourself no more. You know, you don't wet yourself when you'll sleep. So you're safe to go to sleepovers and stuff. But dude, your little teeny tiny bladder and your little tiny bladder control is not fully developed, okay? He's gotta go. And like he said, his sister told him there's no bathroom in there, but he has to go. So he went around, tried to hide behind the back of the car and pee. Because he had to go. It's not like he was sitting there blatantly peeing on crazy stuff or whatever. Right? Whatever thing you thought in your head. No, he's outside of a law office. Sure, right? But he just got dragged along. Now he's sitting in this car. He's waiting and he's got to go. And he doesn't know how long it's going to be. He don't want to be trouble to his mama who's in there talking to a lawyer and stuff. And his sister said, there's no bathroom in there. So you just got to wait. But he can't wait. And the cop saw him. And instead of the cop giving him a stern talking to, the cop called more cops. So now multiple cops are pulling up on the scene to apprehend this 10-year-old miscreant, dirty, violent criminal, 10-year-old boy who had to pee. Seriously, if that was a 10-year-old little white boy's face, do you think this would have happened? Seriously.
Crying a little bit. And they had took me down there. And they got me out the truck, and I wouldn't know what was happening.
Quantavious says they held him in a jail cell, and his mom says they charged him with child in need of services, then released him to her.
That could really traumatize my baby. My baby could get to the point where he don't want to have counting with police people.
Child in need of services. Do you see why I pointed out to you in the last story what they said? Oh, well, he was arrested for something that would have been illegal if an adult had did it. Number one, the adultification of our children. Okay? Doesn't happen to everyone's children. It happens to our children. Okay? Adultification of Black children, people of color a little bit, but Black children in particular, Black boys specifically, the adultification of Black children. Right? Number one. Number two, even the police chief is sitting there trying to lie and cape for his boy over there. But the boy, he got arrested because the crime, it would have been a crime if he was an adult. And well, we adultified him, so we decided that we were going to try to charge him as an adult, and that didn't work out. So all we could do is charge him with child in need of services. The tears, I swear to God, the tears in my chest, man. The tears in my chest. Let's keep watching. I'm so upset.
I get scared, start shaking and thinking I'm going to jail.
We reached out to Senatobia Police Chief Richard Chandler. He sent over this statement. It says in part, in this situation, an officer personally witnessed a 10-year-old committing an act in public which would have been illegal for an adult under these circumstances. The officer did not observe a parent on the scene during the initial contact. The mother was located at a nearby business shortly thereafter, and the mother was advised her child would receive a youth court referral for this matter. Under these circumstances, it was an error in judgment for us to transport the child to the police station since the mother was present at the time as a reasonable alternative.
Old North Mississippi boy who was detained and charged after urinating in a parking lot has retained an attorney. The lawyer saying the time is up for Tate County to do the right thing.
WREG's Shay Arthur spoke to them about what they want to happen.
Tonight, the attorney for that family says they're putting the city of Senatobia on notice, giving them 2 weeks to respond and act to a list of demands, or they're filing a federal lawsuit. This comes as the mother of that 10-year-old little boy describes the trauma they now deal with every day.
Or file a federal lawsuit. Or
since that incident.
My son did not deserve that. Nobody kid deserved that. Not only my child. I would feel the same way if that was somebody else's child.
Mother LaTanya Eason stands shoulder to shoulder with her attorney, Carlos Moore, and her 10-year-old son, Quatavius Eason. The trio gathered with a group at the Tate County Courthouse this afternoon with a message.
We are calling for full transparency. Full accountability.
This comes after this picture was taken on August 10th. Quatavius in the back of a Senatobia PD squad car. The child was with his mother as she sought legal advice at a law office when he needed to use the restroom. Moore says there was a sign at the business saying no public restroom. So the boy relieved himself close to his mother's car in the parking lot outside.
You could not see anything indecent at all.
LaTanya says she was contacted by a Senatobia police officer who was nearby, and she told her son not to do that again. She says the officer said she handled the situation.
Period, point blank. That's what's supposed to happen. That's why you raise kids. That's why you raise them. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to do things that isn't the best thing. Their little bodies can only handle so much. And then you say that's not the right thing to do in this situation. Next time you do this, next time you do that, okay? You raise them. You do not criminalize children's behavior. I am so tired of seeing them criminalize young Black boys for normal behavior. For normal behavior. He's in the system now for having to pee. For real.
Thought it was over, but more officers showed up and things escalated.
And so they had him put his hands behind his back and they put him in a patrol car and took him downtown Senatobia. And he calls it a cage. Put this boy in a cage for 45 minutes to an hour because he relieved himself on private property.
Quatavius is now looking at a pending juvenile charge.
They have charged him as a young child in need of supervision.
As far as the officer's status with the department, do you know exactly?
The police chief simply has said that the officer is no longer with the department. He has not used the word termination.
Exactly.
Tonight, the family is calling for the officer to be formally terminated, as well as his name released, a public apology, the charge against Quatavius dropped, and an undisclosed monetary payment.
So I'm going to fight to the end. I'm going to fight to the end.
Shay Arthur, WREG, News Channel 3.
Look, I have chills. Look at that. He's just 10, you know what I mean? Like, he's just a kid. It just pisses me off. It just really does. He's just a little boy. I want y'all to take a really good look at Quantavious Eason's face. And why am I saying that? Because the way this got on my radar, well, is through my co-host, Selma, who was gonna do the story, and he sent me the link, and I went, we've covered this kid before. I know this kid. This is a kid who got shot by a cop. No, not Quantavious. Not Quantavious Eason. This young man, Adarian Murray, the 11-year-old who called the police because his mom's boyfriend was being violent and terrifying, and then for his troubles of trusting the police showed up at his place and shot him. Remember Adarian? Yeah. And so the Adarian, I have a soft spot obviously for children, and so the Adarian Murray story really touched me. So when I saw his face, I went, wait, what? Now he's been arrested for public urination? Well, that sounds like a targeting, you know? But no, they were just wrong. They were just plain old wrong, you see, because I guess, I don't know, maybe I guess all of our children look exactly the same. I guess they're interchangeable. 10 or 11. Who cares? They're Mississippi black boys, right? Who cares about the details? They look about the same. They fit the description. It's good enough, right? Good enough. Yeah, so that's Daily Loud, who decided to post this young man's picture, Adarian Murray, under the details of Quantavious Eason's story. Yeah, so, not for anything, but if you follow Daily Loud, okay, right here, the #1 source for hip-hop / viral news across the planet, follow us now, stay updated, turn on notifications. If you follow this company, please stop. #1, because I don't know why our #1 source for hip-hop is always someone who's not black, but there's no way this was a black person, because to black people, all black people don't look alike, #1. #2, though, for someone who thinks our children are that interchangeable, they do not need our support. They do not need it. So let's stop giving it to them, okay? Thanks. I don't know, but y'all let me know what you think about this story. Let me know what you think should have happened for Quantavious. I mean, do y'all think that getting a charge, a criminal charge, and being hauled off to the police station? I don't know. What did they need 15 cops for? Okay, maybe it was like 3 or 4 cops, cars, but still, what did they need all those cop cars for one 10-year-old? I don't know. Y'all let me know what you think. You about to